Hey everybody, welcome back to Mama Z's Texas Kitchen. Today is week 3 of the Zepbound journey. I have the shot here ready to give, and I wanted to start out today with saying happy 4th of July. Safe, designated driver, or do like we are and just stay home. I hope everybody's doing good this week. I wanted to address a couple of things before we get into the shot. I want to tell y'all about a new app that I have been using, and it's called Cronometer. I'm going to leave the link down in the description. It is an affiliate link, but they are not sponsoring this video in any way. I am just sharing it because I've been really impressed. I've been using it this week, and it's very, to me, a whole package. It counts your micros, your minerals, all the stuff that is really important for you to do, your water. I'm going to be sharing more later on how I'm going to get everything connected where it will integrate into everything. But that's not this video. But I did want to share with y'all that so far so good. My only wish is that they would have a spot where you could log this, where you could log your symptoms and all that stuff. But anyway, the other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick, and I did a short about it yesterday. I'm getting really kind of with some of the clickbait that you see going on when it comes to these medications. The concern is that a lot of these people that are talking have no idea what they're actually talking about. They haven't been on the medication themselves or only had 30 pounds to lose, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but my biggest issue with it is the clickbait. Worst things of Zepbound. 10 things I'd known before I started. And to me, it's you click it and it's not really what you would think it was about, or they're really kind of the process, and I'm not here for either one of them. This is why I do my shot live on video, is because I want y'all to understand I really am doing this. I'm not talking in my head and pretending that I'm something that I'm not. I really am an overweight, middle-aged woman who has tried gastric sleeve, did really well on it, still 100 pounds down from where I was, my heaviest, but I have had some weight gain. And like a lot of people, women my age especially, you go through menopause, your hormones slow down, and it really affects your ability to lose weight. And that was my deciding factor into this, using this drug. Now with my insurance, the only way I could get it approved was because I have a severe obstructive sleep apnea. I couldn't afford to pay for this out of pocket at all. It wouldn't happen. So I am grateful for that. And I know that the struggles are real for a lot of people. Anyway, let's get into the shot. Then we're going to talk about the week, and I will how it went last week. Again, if you're taking this for the first time, this is the Zepbound 5 milligram that I take. You unlock it. That's the most important part of that scenario. And then there's a cap that you pull off. You can see the little needle in there. If this is the first time you have watched one of these videos, I have more. There are 3 other videos in this series. Please go check them out. And I'll kind of give you some of my backstory and explain a little bit why I'm doing what I'm doing. But anyway, let's do our shot real quick, and then we'll talk about everything else. Again, I am real. I have a real belly. You set this up against your skin, and you click it, you're going to count for 10 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's it. You can tell the stopper's down, the medication's in. That's important for me to do because I don't want y'all to think that I'm just blowing smoke. I'm really on this medication. I really take it. And this is not a how-to video. This is how I'm doing it video. And I think that's important. And I think that maybe that's what irritates me about some of the other videos. It's like they want to make it seem like they are the expert on it, and they're really not. Never going to be here trying to give you medical advice. That is not my goal. My goal is to share my journey with you, and if anything, be an encouragement. If you are 50-something and going through menopause and dealing with your other health issues that typically women deal with. Now, no, it's not only women taking this drug, and I'm not trying to say that, but I can't speak to men. I can speak to what I know about what they go through hormonal wise and that kind of stuff. So this week this week was better. I I took my shot Friday, which is kind of typical, very normal. I had some nausea. I have started taking like nausea medicine, Zofran, or the name brand or the generic brand, before about an hour before I take my shot. We're going to see if that kind of prevents some of the nausea. The nausea is a real thing. I felt pretty rough, and I kind of felt like I had the flu, just tired. And I slept a good chunk of last Saturday, and I'm just allowing myself to do that. That's one reason taking it on Friday. We don't have as much going on usually during the weekend, and so that way if I need to just call it a day, I can. But I was better. I was up and around doing stuff all day Sunday. The rest of the week, I think I've done really good. I've had a couple of moments of nausea, but theory here is it maybe letting my blood sugar get a little too low, and that's what's causing some of that. Because if you remember, this medication was originally made for diabetics, so it's going to lower your sugar, and that's why even on the days that you don't feel good, you still need to try to eat a little bit. Trying to drink at least one electrolyte drink a day. If I'm out in the heat, which I avoid like the plague, I'll drink more than one, because dehydration is a very real thing with this, and it's very important that you drink as absolute much water as you can. On the little tracker website, the Cronometer, they do have where you can adjust how much water that you drink. I raised mine up from normal 8 glasses. I try to get probably twice that. The other thing that I've kind of see if it helps, and no sponsorship here, this is just my life. These supposed to be gentle. It says relief as little as 30 minutes. I can't say that that's happened with me, which I struggled anyway because of the gastric sleeve, but yeah, it's a very real thing. So if any of you have any more things that you do that help with that, please leave that down in the comments, because we all could benefit from that. I also have joined a local center here in town. I live in such a little bitty town. We don't have like a Planet Fitness or something like that, and I miss Planet Fitness. You see this Planet Fitness, we would love to have one a little closer than an hour away. With my housing situation, I get an apartment complex that I live at. We do get a discount for using this. The cool thing about it, it's ran right beside a doctor's office. They have real therapists, and they also have physical trainer that comes in once a week. That it's at no extra cost to use these services. They have senior classes, which I may eventually get into. Just have to kind of get used to going. Again, I used to love going to Planet Fitness after I had my gastric sleeve. Just not anything around here. Or the water aerobics. I wish there was water aerobics too. If you have either one of those available in your area, I highly recommend them. But at least with this gym, I've got there that can actually help me and come up with a plan that, with all my physical issues that I have with my back and neck and knees and all of it, can help me come up with a plan that I'm not going to hurt myself any worse than I already am, but can help the weight loss journey. So I encourage you to do that. Nothing else, get out and walk. I don't like walking up and down the street. One, it's Texas and it's humid as all get out, and I'd probably have a heat stroke. The other is the ground is very uneven. I have had one knee replacement surgery. I'm waiting on the other, so my gait is very kind of, I guess, like a better way to say it. And so I would rather have a very controlled environment versus just getting out in the street and potentially falling on concrete. The other thing I wanted to mention, if y'all would be interested in starting a Zepbound group, and I know there are even the whole weight loss shot genre, it doesn't have to be just, but I'm finding even in some of these groups that they see being encouraging as saying, oh, you can do whatever you want. You're a grown person. You don't have to do this or this. And I'm going to do a separate video at some point about food addiction and the mental games that it plays on us, and the way our mind will justify eating something. Well, I've had a rough day, or I've had a good day, or I'm stressed out, or just about won't hurt me. And I really want to dig deeper into that, but it needs to be its own separate video away from these videos. So be on the lookout for that. And like I said, if y'all would be interested in doing a group, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to start that over on Facebook. And that way we can get real answers, honest feedback, instead of, oh, you're doing great, even though you just ate 12 Twinkies and Dr. Pepper. Thank y'all so much for joining me today on Mama Z's Texas. Thank you again for joining me, and we'll see you guys on the next video.